must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Very good morning to you, and thank you so much for joining us. This is Good Morning Africa, where we bring you up to date with what is happening in Kenya and indeed across the continent of Africa. My name is Miriam Mugutu, and as usual, we are coming to you all the way from Kenya's capital here in Nairobi. A beautiful morning. I think we are just in the middle of our what will be considered our summer. The sunlight is good, the weather is fantastic, and it's really good. So this morning, I am joined by Marian, all the way from Kiambu, on the panel this morning. It's a good thing that I'm not the only lady here today, so it's a wonderful thing, Marian. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Miriam. Indeed, it's a summer here in Kenya right now. The day looks bright. I hope it gets brighter.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. And of course, the rest of the panelists will join us. And before we get into what is making headlines this morning, I'd like to bring us up to date with the latest statistics in regards to COVID-19. I think it's important. At some point, we even forgot this is something that we're dealing with. So I think it's important every now and then we get to know where we are as a country. And so the confirmed cases in Kenya this morning have topped 100,856 cases, and the death toll is 1,766. Recoveries is at 83,936. And Uganda, the cases right now have reached 39,606. The death toll in Uganda is 325, and recovery and of course recoveries in South Africa so far is at 1,306,022, and we look at the total cases in Africa right now, and they stand at 2,945,255. And the number of people who have died in the continent from COVID-19 stands at 97,700, and recovery so far is at 2,559,112. And the global statistics right now, the cases have surpassed over 103,933,568. Indeed, very staggering numbers there. And the death toll have surpassed 2 million, standing at over 2.2 million. And the recoveries right now stands at over 75.7 million cases. That is the number of people who have been affected and those who have died. It's quite staggering there. I don't know, Marian, from where you stand, how do you think we've done so far in regards to COVID-19 and the government efforts and what we've been seeing? I know Kenyans, we're not very good in following instructions, but how do you think we've done so far in terms of COVID-19?
So far, we are really coping with the situation that's going around, and also the government is really helping a lot. I'm so proud of Kenyans, how they've really improved, and they're getting into the system of, not complaining about the curfew, understanding why the use of masks, because, people have started losing their loved ones, especially now that the second wave is coming. As you've seen, the numbers are rising up. Yeah, I'm happy because the health facilities has improved, especially when it comes to the COVID the pandemic itself. Yeah, I think if it were not, the government has really insisted. It has not given up. You know, it's still going on, and people are coping. People are catching up with the situation.
Thank you so much. And also, I think it's a good thing that the Ministry of Education banned, media to go to schools and cover the situation in our schools, because I think it was making a lot of parents very anxious.
Yes.
As long as you want to trust your child is okay. And I think all our teachers in all our schools, despite of all the challenges that we have in terms of infrastructure and all that, but I'm sure they're doing their best to ensure that our children are safe in those schools. So we need to rest in that. And I think it's a good thing that the media is not going there to bring us stories from our schools, because that was not very well, especially for me as a parent. It got me very anxious at some point. So I think it's a good thing.
Me too.
All right, very well.
Me too.
Very well, thank you so much. So we are also joined in the panel this morning by Jevan Karanja, who is also a journalist and a political analyst all the way from Nanyuki. Jevan, a very good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Miriam. Good morning to Marine and Douglas Kirimi. Thanks for having me on the show. And good morning to our viewers. Good afternoon. Maybe there are some of us who are watching us, and where they are is afternoon.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Because we have a viewership cutting across the continent. So we do have some people who are watching us, it is afternoon, and others it's evening, especially if they're watching us from a place like Australia, which we do have some people watching us a couple of times. So thank you so much. And we are also joined by Douglas Kirimi, who is also a writer, political analyst, and a politician himself, all the way from Meru County. Douglas, a very good morning to you.
A very good morning to you, Miriam Ogutu, and also to our crew at our headquarters. Good morning to Marine, and also to my friend Jevan Karanja in Nanyuki, and to our friends across the world. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you for having me on the show.
Okay, thank you so much. And before I even go further with this conversation, I'm sure you saw what happened in that burial ceremony yesterday in Kisii. I was very disappointed. I think I was surprised. I don't know why, because our politicians have really bad manners, but I didn't think they will take it that far. So I don't know, Marin, I'll just start with you. Your reaction from what you saw yesterday in Kisii.
I was totally embarrassed, especially looking at I don't want to call them the youth, but those are the people that we are relying on in the leadership right now, because we can't really compare them to our president and the DP, because they're older. These people they're there to please their principles. They're utter words that they really don't mean just to please their principles. They should actually sit back and really, and they're doing that in a funeral. People lost someone. It's so embarrassing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed.
I was so
it was so embarrassing. It was very, very not tasteful at all. I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed for the family, for the young children at home watching what our leaders out there are doing. Javen, what do you make of the events yesterday in Kisii, that scuffle?
Thank you very much, Miriam. And let me say this. The event that occurred in Kisii was a culmination of what has been happening in some other places. In Nyandarua, last 2 weeks ago, we had a burial of the Rolie MCA, and some people arrived there a bit late, and these are the people who support the deputy president, led by Madira MP Rigathi Gachagua. And when they came, the pastor has already given an order that there will be no politics will be allowed in that place. But when they came, they demanded to speak to the people. And Miriam, you could imagine the level of commotion that was created there. Nyandarua governor was in attendance, and there was a push and pull, and until they cut half of the crowd, and they went to address them. And that is something that is so shameful. And when former Prime Minister visited Githurai last week, you saw what happened. Isaac Moora has a master in these things of organizing goons, and they went there and disrupted the meeting of former Prime Minister. When the Deputy President went to Bama Market You saw he was almost hit by a stone from angry youths who are chanting the BBI tones. Therefore, these things are there. And it is high time that we come as the people of Kenya and we condemn this with all the possible terms that we have. Because this is not good. This is not a good picture that we are setting to the people of Kenya, to our children who are watching what our contrary opinion to what they hold.
All right, thank you so much. We seem to be having a bit of a signal problem there from Chevan Karanja. Douglas, I know you were watching, and I could only imagine what was going through your mind. Me and Marian there, we were very embarrassed. It's just unspeakable what happened yesterday in Kisii. I don't know what you make of the events that happened yesterday, and when did we become so intolerant?
Miriam, one suggestion that I have for the Republic and also for the country is that maybe the president should issue a presidential order or something like that that controls burials in this country, that a burial is a family issue when no matter who dies, including a member of parliament, let the wife and the children bury their deceased, because even Jesus said that the dead bury the dead, because our politicians, especially the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, has moved into a burial and also an obituary contributor to every burial. He writes obituaries on his Facebook, then the next minute he is sending choppers to disrupt meetings. And also, Miriam, you saw what they did for Senator Kabaka. Senator Kabaka was a decent man that was not buried decently because Deputy President and his men invaded Machakos County, and the family was left with the body to bury at night, with no one to help them and with no one to console with them. These people have found a platform to go and politic in these barriers, Miriam. At the end of the day, if the Deputy President and his crew or any...
Okay, we apologize for that. Douglas have suffered a bit of a technical hitch there. I don't know what's up this morning. Yes. Are you able to hear us, Douglas, now? Oh, Jevan, you're back. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm back. Let me finish my piece of thought.
Go ahead.
And I was saying that...
Any other politician, whether he comes from the president...
Okay. We apologize for that. Oh, Douglas, go ahead. And then Jevan will come in. Go ahead.
Thank you, Miriam. Sorry for that.
It's okay.
And these people need to be... Yes, these people need to be contained because, Miriam, at the end of the day, we can no longer continue doing things the way we are doing them. These are politicians that are going to burials and also stopping things from happening. What we saw yesterday, the father of the Deputy Governor, Joash Maangi, in Kisii was not buried decently because Sylvanus Osoro and Simbarat went to fight there. These things are things that we need to contain ourselves as a country. If Deputy President or any other politician feels that they need to talk in meetings, in burials, they need to do special addresses on television or radio or newspapers. We don't want to see them in burials because if they continue doing this, they fought in Nyandarua, as my friend Jevana said. They went to Machakos and invaded, and that has been the norm in every political area. They go and invade these burials and they stop things from happening, Miriam. And one thing I'm praying and beseeching this nation, if we can come with a legislation that says, if Douglas Bundi Keremi dies today, let the mother and the wife and the kids bury him. We don't need any politician in any burial because, Miriam, at the end of the day, we are permitting a very bad culture in our country. Whoever saw that clip outside the country saw a very bad picture of our leaders. The Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga was there. The Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, that was sanctioned by none other than the Deputy President. Sylvanus Osoro was less than 2 centimeters from where the Deputy President was sitting. There were pictures where they were conversing when Simbarat was talking. That is very bad, Miriam. And like Marin was saying, I'm so embarrassed myself also, and I cannot join such politicians in building the nation. They are destroying our culture as a people, and they are also destroying our nation, led by the none other than Deputy President William Ruto. He should be ashamed of himself, a Bible-carrying Vice President of the Republic of Kenya who destroys burials in this country. He should be ashamed of himself. I'm so sad this morning, Miriam. I tire talking about Deputy President and his lack of culture and also habits, good habits in burials, Miriam.
And Okay, but I'd like to believe he's not the one who sent Sylvanus to go do that. Maybe this person just acted on impulse. He didn't like what the other person was saying, and so he couldn't just take it anymore. So I just don't know. Javan, I know you were finishing your thought process there, but when did we become so intolerant?
Yeah, therefore, what we need to do as a people is when these people bring politics in barrios, in churches, we as people of Kenya, we have a responsibility to stop them peacefully, not by throwing stones, but we can stop them and say no politics. We all stand up and we say don't address us. If it's politics, wait us at the gate, wait us somewhere else in the market. We'll come there after the barrio and we will speak. Therefore, we should not blame all these politicians. Give them an air time to speak to us in these barriers. And Miriam, it is in our culture that when you attend a politician's barrio, where a politicians are coming, we all go there expecting some politics. Therefore, we as a Kenya, we have made our barrios to be a place of politics. And you see, when a politicians die, the politicians are there in sending their message of condolences, not because they are feeling what the family is going through, but because they have seen an opportunity to go and politic. And to our politician, let's stop this intolerance. It is too early. We still have 1 year and some months to the general election. If we start these kind of things now, what will happen if somebody loses an election? What will happen if the likes of the Tanga or Kieleweke loses an election, or with all this bitterness, what will happen? And Miriam, finally, we have a breed of politicians who are ever bitter. When you have a contrary opinion, they are bitter, they come, they destroy. When you post something in Facebook, there's some machinery who are sent there who don't buy that, they'll come there and insult you, call you names. Therefore, it is high time that politicians start accepting that we are in a democratic space and everybody is allowed to believe and to do what they want, providing that they are not interfering with the freedom of expression. Speaking our mind is not a bad thing. Supporting the Prime Minister or Deputy President, that is not a sin. It's just your opinion and it should be respected. Thank you.
Okay, but and Javan, you mentioned there that,
and Miriam,
just before you come in, Douglas, Javan has mentioned that whenever a politician dies, then that becomes a very important platform to come and politic by other politicians. But the problem is, the person who died was not a politician. The same way Musalia Mudavadi's mother, she was not a politician, and yet these people still bring their bad manners. The person who died, whose burial yesterday was turned chaotic by the politicians there. He was not a politician, and we had his children attest to that. He did not take sides. He was, and even looking at his age, he was over 100 years old. The lack of respect. The lack of the uncultured way our leaders behave. I was so mad. I think, and I felt so sad for the family as the bereaved had to stand up and try to quell the political temperatures there. Douglas, go ahead. You wanted to say something.
Thank you, Miriam, and I agree with you. Dead people don't tell tales. When the day Douglas Mundi Kiremio die, if politicians like Jevan Karanja, Marin, or anyone who come to our rural home to bury me, they should not be allowed to talk and politic in my barrio. I will not listen to that. My wife doesn't care. She has lost her lover and the husband and the children who have lost their dad. My mothers would have lost a son. These things that are out in political meetings in this country, Miriam, are bad. It is a bad precedent. And Miriam, I have linked the deputy president with the chaos that is being caused in meetings, and this is why I'm doing that. When these people came in Meru when there was a BBI meeting, they brandished out bundles of money, and people had to cut the whole of stadium. The right honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga had to address a meeting of the stadium which was half empty because these people had taken away these people. When these people come to burials, Miriam, I can tell you for sure, I'm a politician, I know how they do it. They will come and then tell people, when people ask for $1,000, they'll be told, leave the meeting, we are going to give you money where my car is. Follow me. They'll cut half of these stadiums, these burials, and they'll carry all the people. And this is a disease that is permitted from the camp of the Deputy President, William Ruto. Yesterday, you saw a man come from behind the Deputy President, William Ruto, a man with a lot of security, a man with a rich security schools. They knew what he was going to do there. He was not going to administer sacrament and some wine to Simbarat. He was going to grab the microphone. Again, the next step, you saw Millicent Omanga fight and also try to insult the governor of Kisii, Governor Omariba Ongwae. At the end of the day, Miriam, these are the same characters who went to read by Rigathi Gachagua in Nyandarua. It is a precedent they are setting, Miriam, for violence in this in these barriers, and we cannot continue allowing the same thing in our country. We need something like of a presidential order that prohibits people's regions from attending these barriers. If you have to assist anyone, send your contribution. Go on live TV and do your condolences or anything that you have to do, but avoid going to grave sites of these people because these people don't know you. The people that have died, dead people don't tell tales. And Deputy President should stop sending his troops and also himself in these burials, Miriam. I wish he cannot come to any burial anymore.
All right. Okay. That will be very harsh because, that is a very important platform for the Deputy President. But I just don't know, Marin, before I bring in Kidi as he has joined us, this bad manners that our leaders take, especially every time they go to a funeral, I get very nervous. A family is there, has lost their loved ones. They are condoling. And instead of them just coming and sending their sympathies and just being there and standing with the family, it's just an opportunity for them to come and display their ignorance, to come and display their bad manners. It's disgusting to see what we saw yesterday there. So perhaps as Javen and Douglas, they're suggesting, maybe we need some laws that says when you go to a funeral, just go there and don't politic. If you want to condole with the family, just do that, and then go home. Go find another platform and campaign. Go, organize for a political rally and do all that dirty politics over there. Don't bring it to these people. Should we have some regulations around that? And is it even possible, Marion?
Yes, I think it's very possible. I'm actually wondering right now, do the host of the burials or the owners, the people who've lost the person, are they not allowed to restrict the people who are allowed to come in? What they should do is they should make it aware to people. If they don't want these politicians to come, they should actually restrict them from coming. Because as far as Douglas said, these people are not even politicians in the first place. The persons who died or the deceased, they're not even politicians to start with. So I don't know what business politicians have to do in that premises. I don't know why the family themselves can't say, please, you're not allowed here on any grounds, because they will tell you we're not going to speak, we're not going to politic at all, but they're going to. Or another question, are these families paid? Are they paid? Do these politicians do something for the burial? Because that's also another thing. They should not, it's a narrative to brainwash the people. Because if you come and if you're pretending to help, yet you just know very well you want to use it as a platform to air out your views or, to attack the other party. I think our leaders should really think about what they're doing because they're destroying people's peace. Let me tell you, when Kenyans start getting pissed off, I'm telling you, it's going to be chaos. And I can smell it coming, Miriam.
All right, very well indeed, and it's very worrying. We also joined this morning by Kidi Mwage, a lawyer from Nairobi. Kidi, a very good morning to you.
A very good morning, Miriam. Sorry that I showed up late here. It's because I had technical hitches over here.
You're such an old man.
A very good morning to thank you. A very good morning to my fellow able co-panelists, Marlene, Douglas, and Javan.
All right, Mr. Old Man, who always have technical hitches. Kidi, I'm joking. A very good morning to you and welcome to the show. So we are looking at that a very unfortunate incident that happened yesterday at the funeral in Kisii. And one of our viewers here, Chuma, as usual. Chuma, thank you so much for watching and for joining us this morning and saying good morning, Miriam, and panelists, good morning to you. Kisii burial chaos shows BBI's Burning Bridges initiative. Why is PEV 2007 being discussed at a burial surely? I don't know, because remember when the post-election violence, you remember when they went to the DCI just a couple of months ago, I think, to report about some renewed threats and others whose cases were not heard at that time, and so they were looking for a reprieve and all that. Do you remember what President Uhuru Kenyatta came out and said? This is not the time. We cannot do this. The actual people who got hurt, during that time. So I don't think that is what BBI is all about. Remember, President Uhuru Kenyatta was very disgusted by that, and he expressed his concern. He was not very happy with that, because we have to understand this is a very sensitive issue, and whatever Arati said, I don't agree. That as much as people died, and people died across the country, that is a fact that we cannot just sweep under the carpet, but that was not the right platform. The manner in which it was said was not the right way, and I think it can incite some reaction. And I don't. He was wrong for doing that, Juma. I will tell you that, and I'm sure even our panelists will agree with me this morning. That was not the place to say it. That is not how to say it. That is not how you ask for a person to. This is a very, very sensitive matter in this country. So I pray and wish that our politicians and our leaders, when they get to these public platforms, they have to really measure what they say, especially about certain things. So Juma, Arati was wrong, and that's it. Kidi, we're just getting our reaction from what happened yesterday in Kisii, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on that.
Thank you, Miriam. I think it is Paul, while writing to one of the early churches, who says that when I was a child, I used to think and act like a child, but now time has come to set aside childish things. In my estimation, Osoro acted childishly when he had the opportunity to speak. And you look at his speech, it was designed and intended to, among other things, humiliate Prime Minister Raila Odinga, and two, to spike to take up political temperatures. But then I also disagree with the way Honorable Arati responded in kind by invoking the memories of the post-election violence. People died across the country. There are times when we should let the bygones be bygones, and over and above that, put in place necessary measures to ensure that there is no repeat of the same, which in part is what BBI seeks to achieve. For instance, in Luo Nyanza, in Migori, where I come from, there are women who came with the heads of their husbands in cartons, and today and they were coming from certain parts of the country that we don't want to talk about right now. So that leaders, why I was confident quoting that Bible verse, is that people we call leaders must learn that they do not have the luxury of saying anything any child or any drunkard would have said during a bar brawl. That their speech must be measured, their action must be measured. Mm-hmm. But then this also extends, I also want to call out the deputy president, because you realize that even when he rose to speak, he did not condemn his attack dog Osoro, who started all this charade. Because one, you realize that had Osoro been restrained while he's speaking, I don't think Arati would have wanted to respond in kind. About the post-election violence,
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We apologize for you having a bit of technical hitches, but I think we shall continue like that. We shall continue having this conversation there. Diaz Ayasima Bari, how do you say that? Barije or what? I think that's a Ugandan name there. Good morning, and you're saying thank you for the program. Thank you so much for joining us. Juba Smith, you're saying, did Raila restrain his attack dog? I think when it comes to a matter like what we saw yesterday in Kisii, I think it's easy to just play a blame game. What happened there was wrong. I don't care who did it. I don't care who started it. It was just plain wrong, regardless of which side. It was just like the things where we should not even sit and have a conversation of, you did it. That's a 5-year-old, thinking process there. We should, if something is wrong, period. It is just wrong. That was wrong. Whatever happened there was wrong. And all Kenyans who have a right meaning to this country should condemn such things with and no uncertain terms there. All right, thank you so much. So let's just leave that alone. Okay, there you go. Senator Ledama Olekina tweeted about that and he said it's getting nasty day by day. It is us Kenyan politicians who are destroying our nation. Please let us retreat and remember power comes and goes. I beseech you. And I agree there with Senator Ledama Olekina. That was very unfortunate what happened there yesterday in Kisii. So now let's get to another story, and that is on page 2 of the Star newspaper. Sonko grilled by DCI over 2017 chaos. Claims former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko was on Monday grilled by police over claims he and other government officials planned and executed chaos during the 2017 polls. Now, Sonko was summoned by the Directorate of Criminal Investigations detectives to record statements after Interior Principal Secretary Karanja Kibicho complained he had been wrongly accused as the planner and executor of the chaos, allegedly to frame ODM followers. So this came after his unsuccessful attempts to stop police from questioning him over the matter. So that is the part I don't understand. If you're going to stand in a public forum and make certain claims, these people have to understand, then you must be accountable for your words. So Sonko makes these claims a couple of days ago, and I think we talked about it, and then he runs to the court because he does not want to be questioned about this. If you're going to say something, then be ready to back it up. I don't know, Marian, what do you make of this situation with Sonko? I think he spent the night at the police station, if I'm not wrong, yesterday.
Yeah, I think so. I read that this morning, and Sonko, my God, this is the power.
We're not getting your audio very well. Can you adjust that, please?
Can you hear me now?
Okay, go ahead.
Of course, I think you should, if you say something, you should be able to back it up. Otherwise you cannot be uttering words and expect us to believe anything. You should. Some people should just start taking themselves serious. Mm-hmm. If you want people to believe what you're saying, be able to back it up. Also, don't waste time for Kenyans. We have other things we need to deal with, not these issues of Sonko, and it doesn't want it to be clarified. He should clarify his point at this point.
Okay, thank you, Marian. Very well, Jal, Biel, Balpenyo, saying you're watching us from the West Michigan. Thank you so much for, we should be asleep now, I don't know, but thank you so much for tuning in. Javen, if you're going to stand in a public forum and say something, you must be able to back it up. And if you're called for questioning, you must show up because you said this.
Yeah, exactly. And that is what you expect Sonko to do. You cannot just be going around altering words as if you are not in your normal sense of mind. Then when you are called for questioning and are giving a clarification or a backup information on what you know about the information you give, you start complaining that the police are harassing you or somebody is having a government hand is there to ensure that you are taken to DCI or to a court of law. But said and done, Mike Sonko, we know this a man who is suffering maybe from a psychological or emotional distress. When he started his political career, he started on a victory platform. He came and he became an MP. He has not been in the political code since he started his political career as Makandara Member of Parliament. He became a senator, a governor. He started on a victory, on a high gear, and that's what makes him now. After he was impeached, he didn't ever see in his political career that one day he might be impeached or be in a political cold. You saw when the impeachment motion was brought, he started saying that it is impossible for him to go home. And when President Uhuru called him to State House to sign the NMS agreement, you saw the drama that he later caused. He's saying that when he was doing that, he was intoxicated with some soft drinks. And you see all these kind of manner things shows the character of the Mike Sonko. And he was much of himself. And he thought that he has the mandate to control the Nairobians. And he thought to some extent, Nairobi was his strong point. This is where he belonged and he can do anything. Now, after the impeachment, he has been hit by the reality that you are not the only one who matters in Nairobi. Now we have a deputy governor. He went to court to stop the the swearing in of Kananu, as Agnes Kananu, as a DG Nairobi. Therefore, this is a man who is bitter, and he can say anything because now he is trying to express how he feels, but he is saying things that are contrary, and he is saying things from the wrong platform. And I think it is high time the deputy president restrains Sonko in his meetings, because this man is destroying him. After Mike Sonko falls with the deputy president, he will start accusing him of things maybe he did or he didn't do. This is a man that all politicians should take a good keen of. They should restrict him, because he's a man who is known to record meetings. Maybe he is around recording what the deputy is saying in his boardroom. You saw him recording the president. You saw him saying that they used to smoke bangi with the former Kiambu governor Ferdinand Waititu. This is a man who is mentally, he has something that is not right, and it's high time. And I agree with Moses Kuria for the first time. We need to take Mike Sonko to a mental hospital. He needs to be checked up. Let's be careful to our brother. Maybe he is suffering and he is having a mental psychology. We have seen the rate of Kenyans committing, the rate at which Kenyans are committing suicide. It is high time that we agree that in this country we have a mental issue, and the people are suffering. I don't know whether it's the effects of COVID-19, but Kenyans mentally are sick. And Mike Sonko might be one in that category. Okay. He needs to be taken to a mental hospital. Yeah.
I'm not a psychologist. I don't think I'm in a position to prescribe that for him. But definitely, you say that he's bitter. I don't know. Would you also say he's careless in the things that he says and the manner in which he says? And as you mentioned there, you're cautioning DP Ruto not to perhaps bring him very close. He can become a complete liability, I believe, from what we've seen there in public. Douglas, Sonko made these utterances in public. So after he made these utterances in public, now the police feels he has important information, because these are criminal activities that took place. So they asked him, come and give us the statement to assist the police in the investigation. And then now he ran to court to block the police, to block the summoning to the DCI. I don't understand. If you say something, then you must be ready and be prepared to take accountability and to back what you're saying, don't you think? Douglas.
Thank you, Miriam. And one thing I think that we need to do in this country is that we need to allow politics of decency. We've seen, I don't support William Ruto, but I have condemned in the strongest terms what Simbarati told the deputy president. Maybe according to Simbarati, deputy president William Ruto is capable, but telling him in Kisii that what he told him was wrong in public. What we are seeing Sonko today, Sonko has degenerated into a schizophrenia, political sick man. Because one thing we have seen from Mike Sonko is that Mike Sonko keeps insulting the president of the Republic of Kenya. That cannot be able to undo the gains that the president has been able to bring to the Sonko's camp. One, the Mike Sonko also rode to power through the president's party, Jubilee Party. Remember, Mike Sonko might have disagreed with the president of the Republic of Kenya. It is true, they were friends, but they are no longer friends. But the president also was good to Mike Sonko at one point in his life as his personal friend, as the head of state, and also as the president of the Republic of Kenya. The president of the Republic of Kenya deserves decency and to be treated with decent and also with honor. Because at the end of the day, what we saw when he saved Nairobi residents from a marauding Mike Sonko, who has been moving around the city of Nairobi, recording development that was never to be. Again, this is the same man that has used Nairobi County billions to be able to go with his family and friends and also bribe people along the way. This is the same man that the president of the Republic of Kenya saved us from, who has been flying the daughter in New York City to Philadelphia. This is the same man that stole over 357 million shillings, a case that is in court. When the president saved us from Mike Sonko, and Mike Sonko said that when he signed that deed of transfer, he was drunk. What is wrong with that? If we were saved from a man that was governing billions of money in Nairobi City County by a deed of transfer, what was wrong with that? It is Mike Sonko who signed it. At the end of the day, what Mike Sonko is doing, it is not what is expected of leaders, including now, this now is going to public. This is what we see people like Edgar do. When brothers fall out, they go and speak out. They send videos of their good times and everything, and they have been invited and also been inspired by Mike Sonko. Mike Sonko is not only a bad example, he can be used as a good example to so many people, because Mike Sonko is also a success story as a son of Kivanguri, when he didn't go to school and disappeared, and also went to prison and all that, rose to become an MP, rose to become a senator, rose to become a governor. Mm-hmm. He has come to a point where he has been able to succeed. But what he is doing today, and also insulting the president of the Republic of Kenya, it is very wrong. Mm-hmm. And I believe, as a people, as a nation, we shall now continue weeding out the chaff that is Mike Sonko and characters who have been taking advantage of our public space to be able to spell doom and also spell insults to people, and including the president. And one thing I'm beseeching Mike Sonko to do is to take a break from politics. Mm-hmm. It is true he has been impeached. He's not coming back as Nairobi governor. Okay. Maybe he can move into something else. He can go become a businessman. And as I advised him before, mm-hmm. he has a home in Mua Hills. He can go there before he goes to prison, because Miriam, this is a fugitive that ran from prison. And also the cases that are against the neck of Mike Sonko, there is no way he is coming back to our public offices, because after we pass BBI, we are going to get all these corrupt people and send them to jail, Miriam. Okay. Thank you.
Very well, thank you so much. And on that story there, Sonko has since written to the Witness Protection Agency seeking that witnesses in the case be placed under protection, but the law says it is only the Office of the Directorate of Public Prosecution which can make such a request, and the matter must be active in court. And of course, the summons says that Sonko is being investigated over allegations of undermining the authority, a public officer contrary to Section 132 of the Penal Code, incitement to violence, and disobedience of the law contrary to Section 96 of the Penal Code. So I've seen Dr. has joined, but before Dr. come in, because I'd like for him to complete for us the rest of the show, Kidi, Sonko came out public to make this very serious utterances. The police have every right to call him and question him. Why is he now running to the court and to have the court stop him from going to honor these summons? Of course, the court dismissed that. Mm-hmm.
But one thing is that I saw address by Senior Counsel Aminwa last night, claiming that the state is harassing Sonko, which is a very unfortunate statement coming from a lawyer, an advocate of the High Court, a senior counsel of Aminwa's standing. Aminwa has had an illustrious career, legal practice in this country. Because Aminwa knows better, and he should inform his client that criminal offenses have got no limitation date. So that even if you committed an offense 50 years ago, if you come out confessing, giving information in public, and you get to know that, you committed an offense, the state has the responsibility of coming for you. Sonko admitted, confessed in public, in full glare of the media, that he participated in an act of a criminal nature. And therefore, the investigative agencies of this country have got the obligation of getting Sonko to shed light. Because the principle of natural justice dictates that everyone must be given time and opportunity to defend himself. But because he is incriminating himself, we cannot proceed and condemn him unheard. Mm-hmm. So we must put him to his defense if truly he did this. But then when the state is attempting to follow the law, we see people who should know better, like my very good senior, Councillor Minwa, coming out to allege that the state is harassing Sonko. That is a very unfortunate state of affairs, because Amina should know better. Okay. Truth is, sorry, let me just make one point before I sit to Daktari. Truth is, in a society that is civilized, leaders cannot be given the latitude to act as they want, to speak as they want, without consequences. Because if that is permitted to take root, it is going to lead to demagoguery. and demagoguery would lead to violence. And when there is violence, we shall have no state. Thank you, Miriam.
Thank you so much. Leaders cannot be given the latitude to act as they want and talk as they want without consequences. They just want to do whatever they want to do, but they don't want the consequences that comes with that. All right. Thank you so much, Kidi, for that. We are joined by Dr. David Matsanga from the Political Command Center. Doctor, very good morning to you, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good morning, the panel. Good morning, all of you in Nairobi. Thank you very much. And I want to address the panel and all of you. One, this television speaks the truth. We don't take anybody who attacks the government very lightly. That's point number one, and I want to make it categorical. We allow opinion, but we don't formulate ourselves to the opinion of the chat rooms of whoever is chatting on our television. If you are making a chat, comments, those are your comments. We have given authority for you to open up and come on the show openly. But we don't want anybody to sit and formulate our policy. Nobody formulates a policy for us except ourselves. And editorial, I'm the editor-in-chief of this television station. And that editorial must be adhered to. I support President Uhuru Kenyatta, and that's my stand. I have no regrets for that. If there is anybody who supports whoever he wants to support, can go and support someone else. Let it be known very, very clearly that I stand for that, and that is what I do. Two, the violence that is taking place, the violence that has started, whichever side you are talking about, whether you are in Raila Odinga's side or you are in Ruto's side, it must be condemned without any reservation. But when you are condemning, you look at the circumstances. Lawyer Kidi, you're a lawyer, and I agree with you. Everybody here must be heard. If you tell people that you were part of the people who made baby Pendo to die, you mean you don't want the people to correct you? You don't want the people to take you to the police station? Hello, my panelists and these stupid people like Juma Smith. And I want to tell you, Mr. Juma Smith, I'm giving you the last warning on my television. You create yours, and you are not going to take advantage of dismembering my station and my policy. I'm sorry. If you want to make submissions, make them. Make them. But don't think that we should keep quiet because you support Ruto. Therefore, we keep quiet and kneel. You want to lie on us? You want to take us to bed so that we know how annoyed we are with Ruto. Try me when I'm on the show. I don't kubembeleshwa. Staki mtu akuje kwa television hapa atuambie, oh, I support this, I support Juma Smith, you have your opinion. We have called you several times and I've been listening from the day one, from the show started up to now. I want us to be candidly clear. We are not. We have put a platform. We have put the numbers. If you want to join us, join us. And Miriam, invite people to join to criticize. We don't want people whose pictures on the Facebook look like monkeys or dogs to criticize us. When you want to follow him, he's like a dog. A picture is like a dog. You can't find a dog, yet he's a human being. We want the real people to talk to us. Mr. Juma Smith has a right to come and tell us. And we have invited him on several occasions. But all what he does is negativity. Negative. We are not, this is not pro, or we are here to state the facts as we saw in Kisii. Miriam, you touched the question of the president countering anybody. You know how many Kisis died in the Rift Valley? You know the numbers by head. So next time, let's get our facts. The pain of people who lost their people, and you go to their people again, instead of making apology and being humble, you are going there chest pumping. People will tell you, maybe a mob hysteria, you studied it very well. They will tell you off. Their people have died in the Rift Valley. There's nowhere where the statement where the deputy president has gone to Kisiland to say, I am sorry. And maybe this was the opportunity for the DP to come up and say, I'm sorry. But when he's going there to seek, to seek vote, if you look at Osoros stood up because where he gets his money had been touched. Pale anapata pesa, mtu ananguza. I don't know Kiswahili whether I'm right or not. Ananguza pale unapata hanga pesa, mfuko yako leo itakuwa blocked because you did not defend me, you took me to these people, they ate me. That is the analysis we journalists should analyze, not to take sides. That's why I've come out of whatever meeting I was doing to come and counteract this narrative. This we don't look. Yes, you can't speak about the post-election violence, agitate for it, but you must remind the people that there are people who are still sleeping in the boys' quarters in Nairobi, who had houses in the Rift Valley. Yes, and there are people sleeping there who have grabbed their land. Will you rule it out? And we are going into another election, media. And the panel, are we heading there? Are we not heading there? We are heading there. Watch, keep my words. If we don't do a BBI, if you don't do a redemption strategy, which Matsanga, you call me a foreigner, you've called me names. Kenyans have called me names, I agree. You called me names, but Paulo was not a Jew. Paulo was not a Jew. He preached among the Jews. I've preached. If you go to this election without collecting people like Mzee Raila Odinga, that when you go to these functions, remember the people who died and give them honor. Then we are not journalists. What Arati was doing was saying, please, you are coming here with chest bumping, telling us there's Hasola dynasty. We have not forgotten what happened there. You have not come to redempt. A redemption strategy, Miriam, is very crucial to Kenya now. If people believe me or not, it is very crucial for you. One day you will say, I was right. You need to come back and say, okay, we lost people. Do we want to lose more? Uhuru Kenyatta is saying, please, let's amend the constitution. If we go the way we are going, Sonko engaging a whole set of state, insulting back head of state on social media, without shame. What are we teaching the children we have taken to the corona schools? What are we teaching our sons? What are we teaching our sons, our daughters? that they respect the president. That's why, Miriam, I came in here to clarify these things. When you are speaking, have facts. We have facts. Kirimi has facts. It is very true. Kirimi has facts like I have facts. It is very real. These people are fighting with pistols. They have pistols. Didn't you see the pistol on the side of Mr. Osoro? Maybe, Miriam, you can't tell me you have not been in a soldier's home where pistol is known. You know where the pistols are kept. You saw his pistol was seen. Now, imagine this guy pulls out the pistol. The law, Kid is a lawyer here. The man who attacks first is the aggressor. Simbarati should have been cautioned by the master of ceremonies, not by Osoro. Are you with me? Osoro had no right.
You're right.
Osoro had no right to walk from the audience, to walk and go. Even if you go to take this case to court, Mr. Osoro will be charged more because Arati was doing a self-defense. That's how cases are judged, isn't it? You could sentence Osoro for murder, but not Arati for murder, because Arati did it in self-defense. He defended himself. The man came charging 7 steps. 7 steps until the 7th he fell down. Sorry. So the situation here. Sorry about that. The saliva is too much in my pipe. The situation around here, Miriam, and the panel, and your panel, is this thing ICC is watching. Let's not be stupid. This woman is living in the next 4 months. Believe me or not, and I want to quote this the 2nd February. Tell me, call me whatever I will be. If God has given me time to live, which He will give. Let's exchange these views on this television again that I told you. This woman is going to be energetic enough to surrender some people, dangling to that court. Don't you see the gymnastics? What did Mr. Joe Biden say? He has reaffirmed the ICC as an international court of arbitration. Yes. Therefore, Fatou Bensouda and others will be able to fly into the US. What do you think they will do? George Soros has won. So if we are beginning violence now, Kenyatta is telling you, don't go. Don't do violence. These guys will sit down, Miriam, and they are going to look through the most violent person, and they will take him down to the court. You wait, watch the steps. Don't blame that, oh, Uhuru Kenyatta has selected so and so to go. No. Ourselves, we are doing it. We are doing it. Already, on these cases of ICC where violence, post-election violence, Mrs. Yabey is not here. Where did Mrs. Yabey go? Didn't we leave it too late, Miriam? Where is Yabey's wife? Does the panel know that Yabey's wife is seated somewhere in a capital city of another country, ready to give evidence? What is she going to say? She's going to say, Miriam and Matsanga came to my house, persuaded my husband. It was in the morning, early in the morning on this day. What will you say you did not go there? Didn't you interfere with a witness? Didn't you? Look at that, Miriam. Look at that. Those are areas. It is true. President Uhuru Kenyatta said he doesn't want to hear about ICC again, which you correctly say. Yes, but look, as you go towards, as the campaign of BBI starts, someone in Kisumu will say, what about the Luos who were slaughtered in Nakuru? Is Arama from where? Who is Arama? Who is Arama? The MP for Nakuru West. Is it West?
Yes, Nakuru Town West.
From those Luos who are in Nakuru area, Eldoret. How many of them died? Were they supposed to die? Are the killers not known? Were they not released by Maraga?
There was the
remember the Panga?
There was the famous Jobendege who lost 13 members of his family.
Yes.
Jobendege was a Luo.
Maraga released all of them. They went back. Are these people not there? Now we are here. Tunapiga mdomo tuende campaign 2022. Are these Panga welding men not there? Some have sharpened the hose. Some have bought guns. So don't be shocked, Miriam. That is what I wanted to bring an attention, that we have done very well. And in this campaign of BBI, you in Nairobi, you are going to face quite a lot of pressure to change your strategy. You will take sides. Most of us agree Raila Odinga did a very great job for this country. Yes, he deserves. The father even surrendered the place for Uhuru Kenyatta, for Jomo Kenyatta. Even some of us who are critics like me, is there any of you who was more critical to Raila Odinga than Matsanga? Any of you? No, ask me. But when he did one act, and I tell you, one act only of shaking the hand of Uhuru Kenyatta, all my bad words disappear. I want to tell you today, because some of the people think that Matsanga has not spoken over this one. Yes, my words disappear. I might have my personal feelings against Mzee, which I cannot say here. But on the national, international scene, regional scene of East Africa, Raila scored marks. You can go to heaven and ask Angel Gabriel. If I were a Kenyan, the first vote in 2022, if Raila is on the ballot, I will walk even remove my clothes, go naked to the voting place and vote. Because he has convinced me that he's a man who forgives, that he's a man who now, despite the violent route, he said, let it not be anymore. I will walk naked, in terms literally speaking, to show that this is a good sign, not walking naked because I'm mad. Okay? Because only mad people are the ones who walk out of the swimming pool when your clothes have been taken. If I were a Kenyan, in 2022, if Raila is on the ballot, because of the reconciliation he has done, to leave a legacy. If I were Ruto, I will leave a legacy. I will wait because I'm younger, and wait for Uhuru Kenyatta to leave and tell Raila, have 5 years. Then give me this other thing. Unite the country. But if you are going to divide the country on narrative of poor and rich, hustler and dynasty, yet yourself you are in a different category called parasite. Ruto is a parasite. If Kirimi is not telling you the truth, he is a parasite, a tick. You know, we studied biology. A parasite is the one that comes on your body and sucks your blood. Lice, when lice is in the head, you know, some girls have hair which has lice. I am not saying any of you. When they come to your bed, they leave lice on your pillow. Kid who is looking for this new markets and so on, all of you, watch these girls who carry hair, who don't wash it, it is full of lice. Anakuachia ugonjwa kwa nyumba. I'm not saying Marine and Miriam, no, these are decent, organized, upper class women. But some have got lice. Lice is a parasite. Inakunywa damu, imalize damu yako, lakini inakunywa. So Ruto is a parasite. He's not a hustler. He's a parasite. Anakunywa no. Chicken. He has now made chicken 5 million chicken. Where did you get the money? From Kenya Pipeline Company. No. No. Oh, Richard Ruto, go and collect some supply, some medicine. A parasite. Wagwan. Parasite. Mtu anakula watu. Anakula damu ya watu wote, pesa zote. Kenyatta alituambia huko Sagana. All the money is gone. Where angalia watu, you look at the people who follow Ruto every morning. Kajagwa is a parasite. Oh, I know, although this is this. English from Madeira, 0. Edio, the butcher of Moro. He has the guts to come on TV, on Citizen, after paying some Katuku. The telephone calls he makes to some Katuku to put him on the show, we recorded them. Put me on the show to discourage, to dismember Uhuru Kenyatta. Huyo ndio watu mnatupenda kweli? 7 billion. Watu Madeira wanakufa na njaa. And the 7 billion you have kept it. Then you go and condemn President Uhuru Kenyatta. You are a parasite. Don't call them hustle at all. These are parasites. I teach political science strategy. And I'm going to introduce that strategy of parasite from today, Kirimi. Wacha tuende na kitu hii ya parasite group. Tutafute parasite group. Kirimi Javan Kidi. Join me in the parasite search for parasites. We remove parasites from President Uhuru Kenyatta. Wenye wanakula miguu yake, the blood. Let's form the parasite group. Anti-parasite. Tunatafuta wa parasites wenye walikula. Ruto ndio number 1. Ana Biato alinunua namna gani? I was very poor. I am sitting on the chair with the sons of the founding fathers. Didn't he? Miriam, I'm sorry. My sister, I came in to save you.
Thank you.
To save the entire panel. And to help. This is our community in television. It is ours. It makes us. It is our bread. Let's not have the bread destroyed because there is a charter man called Juma Smith. Let him chatter, write his things. We read the comments for everybody. I want to thank you. The saliva has gone in my wrong
All right, take some water, doctor, so that you're okay. Thank you so much. So thank you, Marion. Thank you, Jevan Karanja. Thank you, Douglas. Thank you, Kidi Morgan. And of course, thank you, Dr. Matsanga. There's something else here that I've just seen.
And before I leave, Miriam, we know it is time for the other. We still have time, I think. No, we have no time. Before I leave, on the question of Sonko, please, Sonko is an undesirable character in current dispensation of a world with vision. He said he planned this thing with others. I think Kenyans, police has a right to hold him for 24 hours to explain how he got the guns to go and kill Baby Pendo. We need to know. The country needs to know, because it could be Sonko was one of the groups that was murdering people at that time, isn't it? So let the police find out. He has come out to say he took part with Mr. Kibicho. Mr. Kibicho will be arraigned in court on charges together with Mr. Sonko. So since the matter was opened, it is like when you say Kalonzo has stolen the land. Kalonzo went to show his titles that they were not stolen.
He has every right to
so
do that.
Ruto, Ruto also has a right, or the DCI, because Ruto has no immunity. Anytime DCI, I told you, I wrote one statement on Sunday night, the goose is cooked. So watch the steps, how the goose will fly. That's all I am saying to you this morning.
Doctor, a cooked
and
goose.
maybe I'm welcome. You can now direct the other topic of the lecture, please. I will be a participant. Yes.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for that. A cooked goose cannot fly, Doc. If the goose has been cooked, it cannot fly away.
No, it will smell.
It will smell. All right.
Yeah, a nice smell in the saucepan.
Very well.
You know that saucepan that cooks food in Meru. This gentleman promised me a goat in Meru, so I will eat. One of these days we shall go there and cook it.
Very well. Thank you so much.
I hope Marine, thank you very much.
Yes.
You can as well join our next show and be an observer on many things. Meanwhile, Mr. My general manager behind the scenes take notes of what is going on, and I hope you have blessed me. Marine, I'm a straightforward person. You fit in this organization. You fit where you are now. You speak nicely. Join this gentleman, Lady William, to destroy this gentleman, especially Kidi and.
We don't want to destroy our brothers, Doctor. We just want to work together. All right, thank you so much, Doc. And of course, in the leading newspapers this morning, I think we will be it will not be okay for us not to mention what is on the headlines this morning: the death of a maverick, and curtains fall on Simeon Nyachai, one of the most powerful civil servants during the administration of President Jomo Kenyatta. Daniel Arap Moi, who later came in handy in 2004 to save the presidency of Mwai Kibaki, the king of Abagusi communities politics, breathed his last at a city hospital yesterday. And we saw President Uhuru Kenyatta, former President Mwai Kibaki, Deputy President William Ruto, opposition leader Raila Odinga, among other leaders, sending their condolences. And indeed, even us here from the family of Punchline Africa, we do send our condolences to the family of Simeon Nyachai. May his soul rest in peace. And down there on the Daily Nation, perhaps this is a story we shall do tomorrow, MPs plot to criminalize hustler talk. I just saw this right now, but this is something that people talk about, I think, tomorrow, because I think it's very important. We'll get into the details of that. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Good Morning Africa. My name is Miriam Ogutu. Bye-bye for now. We shall see you at 11 with the Diplomatic Clicks.